All right, welcome to another deep dive. This time, we're going to be tackling the wild world of learning English as a second language.
Sounds fun.
It is. We're
Wow.
using this awesome article. It's called Overcome Common Challenges for Learning English. And even if you're like a native speaker, born and raised with English, I think it's still super interesting to think about these challenges.
Yeah, totally.
Because it gives you a whole new perspective on like how language works in general.
Yeah, it kind of makes you appreciate your own language journey.
Totally. And if you are learning English right now, this deep dive can really help you strategize your learning,
For sure. And it can give you some empathy for all the other people out there learning English.
Yeah, because there's a lot.
Millions of people.
Millions. So let's jump right in. I think one of the biggest mountains to climb when you're learning English is like the grammar, right?
Oh, absolutely.
The article talks about like classic examples, like why does go suddenly become goes?
Right.
And then there's the word read, which is spelled the same but pronounced differently depending on if you're talking about the past or the present.
Yeah. It can be super confusing. And especially for people whose native languages have like way simpler grammar.
Yeah. So English grammar it's a beast.
It is. It's
Right.
a beast. And I think it's because English has borrowed so much from other languages,
Ah, okay.
over the centuries. So it's like this mishmash of rules. And then, of course, there's always exceptions to those rules.
Always exceptions. So where do you even begin with all of that? I mean, there's what, like 12 tenses or something crazy like that?
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
But you don't need to learn them all at once.
Okay.
Right. Just like you wouldn't, try to build a house all in one go. You got to start with the foundation.
Okay, so like what are the foundation tenses?
I would say present simple, past simple, and future simple.
Okay.
Those three are really, they're going to get you through a lot of conversations.
That makes sense. The article also mentions like visual aids.
Yeah.
Are those helpful or is that just more stuff to learn, more stuff to memorize?
I think they're actually really helpful because, when we think about like time, it's this abstract concept.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But if you can actually see it visually, like a timeline with I eat, I ate, I will eat,
Oh, okay.
suddenly it becomes a lot clearer. And research shows that kind of visual learning actually helps you remember things better.
So it's not just about making it look pretty, it's about making it like stick in your brain.
Totally.
Yeah, that makes sense. The article also recommends like consistent practice, even if it's just, 10, 15 minutes a day.
Totally agree. It's about making it a habit,
Okay.
like a mental workout.
Yeah.
And don't just, drill yourself with flashcards. Try actually using those tenses in sentences.
Oh, okay.
Write a little email, describe your day, something like that.
That's a good tip.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe grammar isn't such a scary mountain after all.
Yeah. Once you break it down.
All right. But then we have vocabulary, which is just
Oh, yeah.
a whole other beast. Over 170,000 words in the English language, apparently.
It's a lot.
So do we need to know them all?
No, thank goodness.
Okay, good.
No, you really don't. The article talks about how you can actually get really far just by mastering the 1,000 most common words.
Oh, okay.
That's your foundation.
All right. So then from there, you just kind of, I guess, build strategically.
Exactly.
Okay. Synonyms. Oh my gosh. So many words that seem the same but aren't quite.
It's tough, yeah.
And then phrasal verbs. Give up. Give in. Why so many gives?
I know, right? Phrasal verbs are hard because they're so metaphorical.
Oh, okay.
You're not just learning the words, you're learning the image that they create. So give up is like you're releasing something upwards. So it's a whole other level of understanding.
It's a whole mental picture. Yeah, that makes sense. So the article emphasizes learning in context.
Absolutely.
So ditch the word lists and, dive into the real stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Podcasts, books, movies,
Yes.
anything where you're actually seeing those words used in real situations.
Perfect. What about flashcards?
Flashcards are good,
Yeah.
especially if you use them with spaced repetition.
Oh, what is that?
So there are apps like Anki that use this thing called the forgetting curve.
Yeah.
Basically, it quizzes you on words right when you're about to forget them,
Oh, that's smart.
which forces your brain to work harder and remember them better.
So it's kind of like having a personal vocabulary trainer.
Yeah, exactly.
That's way better than cramming, that's for sure.
So much better.
All right, so small steps for vocabulary.
Exactly. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Marathon, not a sprint. Okay, and speaking of marathons, how about pronunciation?
Oh, yeah.
English pronunciation, it's a wild ride.
It is.
I mean, silent letters, vowels that sound different in every word.
Yeah, it can be tough.
And then there's stress, right? Where you emphasize different syllables and it changes the meaning of the word completely.
Completely.
Oh, it's so much.
Yeah.
So why is English pronunciation such a mess?
It goes back to that whole thing of English borrowing from so many other languages.
Ah, okay.
So we've got all these sounds and rules and, exceptions.
Yeah, it's like a pronunciation party gone wrong.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
Like the letter combination. You can pronounce that in like 5 different ways.
I know, right? It's crazy. The article also mentions like accent anxiety.
Oh, yeah.
Which I can relate to that even as a native speaker.
Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that way.
Yeah.
Like there's this one correct way to sound. But the truth is, accents are totally normal.
Yeah.
And they're part of what makes us unique,
I like that. Yeah.
The goal is to be clear, not to erase your accent.
Okay. Clarity over conformity.
Exactly.
I like that. So how do we get to that point of feeling more confident with our pronunciation?
Well, the article mentions a few tools. One is the IPA.
Okay, the International Phonetic Alphabet.
Yeah, it's like a map for each sound.
Okay.
You can find it in most dictionaries. So you can see exactly how a word should be pronounced.
That's useful.
Yeah. And then there's this thing called minimal pairs practice.
Oh.
So like ship versus sheep.
Oh.
It helps you train your ear to hear those tiny differences.
So targeted workouts for your ears.
Yeah.
I like that. And what about like mimicking native speakers? Is that a good idea?
It can be.
Yeah.
There's this technique called shadowing,
Okay.
where you listen to a recording and try to repeat it at the same time.
Oh.
Helps you get the rhythm and the intonation.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it's kind of like an acting exercise almost.
It kind of is.
Yeah. All right. So pronunciation, clarity over conformity, IPA, shadowing. Anything else?
Don't be afraid to record yourself.
Yeah, that's a good tip.
Yeah, it can feel a little awkward at first.
It can.
But it's a great way to identify, like, where you need to improve.
Yeah. It helps you hear what you sound like to other people.
Exactly.
Which is really helpful. Okay, so we've tackled grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. All big mountains.
Huge mountains.
Huge mountains. But there's one more that can really make learners freeze up.
What's that?
Listening comprehension.
Oh, yeah.
I've definitely been there feeling totally lost when someone's speaking English naturally and quickly.
Yeah, it's like everyone's speaking a secret code.
It is. And the article really hits the nail on the head when it talks about the difference between textbook English and real-world English.
Oh, yeah, there's a huge gap there.
It's huge. In the real world, native speakers slur words together. Like gonna instead of going to. And then there's all the slang and the regional accents.
Yeah, it's a lot to process.
It's a lot. And you don't have those visual cues you get in a face-to-face conversation.
Right. It's like trying to climb a mountain in the dark.
Yeah, it is. So how do we shed some light on this listening mountain?
Well, I would say start slow.
Okay.
Don't jump into, like, fast-paced movies right away.
Right.
There are resources out there, like BBC Learning English.
Okay.
Or podcasts designed for learners. They use clear pronunciation, they speak a little bit slower,
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
and they often have transcripts so you can follow along.
So it's like having a guide to lead you through the terrain.
Exactly.
Okay. What about subtitles?
Subtitles are great.
Yeah.
They're like training wheels.
Okay.
You can use them at first and then gradually wean yourself off them as you get better.
I like that. And you don't have to understand every single word.
No, not at all.
Ah,
Just focus on the keywords.
okay.
The nouns, the verbs, the adjectives.
All right. Those are the important ones.
Those are the ones that carry the main meaning.
Okay. So it's like looking for the trail markers on a hike
Yeah,
instead of getting caught up in every single tree and rock.
exactly. And try listening to the same thing multiple times.
Oh, okay.
You'll pick up different things each time.
So repetition is key.
Repetition is key. And listen to different accents too.
Oh, okay.
British, American, Australian.
Yeah,
It'll help you get used to the variety of English out there.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
So to conquer listening, start slow, use subtitles, repetition, focus on keywords, and embrace the accents.
Exactly. You got it.
All right. That's a lot to take in, but I feel like we're making progress here.
We're getting there.
We are.
One step at a time.
Okay. And speaking of mountains to climb, how about speaking confidence? I mean, I think even native English speakers feel shy or nervous sometimes.
Oh, for sure.
But for language learners, I think it can be extra intense.
Yeah, it can be really intimidating.
Right.
The article talks about how, like, perfectionism, shyness, Even past criticism can hold us back.
It's like that fear of taking the first step,
Duh.
You're worried you're going to fall. So how do we get over that?
Well, first of all, remember that mistakes are inevitable.
Okay.
And they're actually good for you.
All right. So don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Most native speakers, they don't judge you for making mistakes.
Oh, okay.
They appreciate the effort.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah. So start by practicing in a safe space.
Okay. So talk to myself.
Talk to yourself, read out loud, describe your day. Just get comfortable speaking without the pressure of an audience.
That's a good tip.
And then, when you're ready, you can look for language exchange apps or conversation clubs.
Okay. So you can find other learners to practice with.
Exactly. People who understand the struggles.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And what about using scripts?
Scripts can be helpful too,
Yeah.
especially for common situations.
Okay.
Ordering food, asking for directions. It's like having a map
Okay.
with the key phrases highlighted.
I like that.
And then once you get comfortable with the script, you can start improvising.
Oh, okay. So you can start to go off script.
Yeah. But remember, building speaking confidence takes time.
Oh, okay.
So start small.
Okay, small, achievable goals.
Exactly. Order your coffee in English tomorrow.
Oh, okay. I can do that.
Yeah. Or have a short conversation with another learner.
Good idea.
Just little steps.
Small steps.
Yeah.
So speaking confidence, embrace the mistakes, practice in safe spaces, use those scripts, small goals.
You got it.
Okay. But then there's the challenge that I think we all face, regardless of what we're trying to learn.
What's that?
Time and motivation.
Oh, yeah, the eternal struggle.
It's so hard to find time.
It is.
Life gets in the way, schedules are busy.
Totally.
And sometimes that initial excitement, that initial motivation just kind of fades away.
It happens to all of us.
Right.
Yeah. But the key is consistency.
Okay.
Even small, regular effort is so much better than these big bursts of studying every now and then.
So it's about making it a habit.
It's about making it a habit. And integrating English into your daily life.
So instead of making it this extra thing on your to-do list, it's about finding ways to just kind of weave it in naturally.
Exactly.
Okay.
So label things around your house in English.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Listen to English music while you're working out.
I can do that.
Yeah.
What about goals?
Set realistic goals.
Okay.
Don't try to do an hour a day if you know you're not going to have the time.
Right.
Start with 15 minutes, even 10 minutes.
Okay.
Just be consistent.
And celebrate the small wins.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Celebrate every milestone.
Okay.
It's motivating.
It's like marking your progress on a map.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
You can see how far you've come.
Exactly.
Okay. And what about rewards?
Rewards are good.
Yeah.
Give yourself a little treat.
Okay.
Watch a movie in English.
All right.
Do something you enjoy.
Okay.
It makes the journey more fun.
So it's like those little breaks you take on a hike to enjoy the view.
Exactly.
I like that. And the article also talks about connecting your learning to a personal goal.
Oh, yeah. That's so important.
It is, right.
It gives you a reason to keep going.
Yeah. So whether it's, traveling to a new country or getting a job that requires English or just connecting with people from different cultures.
Whatever it is, find your why.
Find your why.
It makes all the difference.
Okay, so time and motivation. Integrate English into your life. Set those realistic goals. Track your progress. Reward yourself. And find your why.
You got it.
Okay, now let's tackle two challenges that I think can be particularly daunting for English learners.
All right, bring it on.
Reading and writing.
Oh, yes.
Those are big ones.
Big ones.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
Reading English with all its unfamiliar vocabulary and complex sentences, and then writing with all the demands on grammar and spelling, it can be a lot.
It is a lot, especially for learners whose first languages have completely different writing systems.
Yeah, it's like adding another layer of complexity.
Totally.
So how do we equip ourselves for these challenges?
Well, for reading, the article really emphasizes active reading.
Okay, so not just skimming the words, but really engaging with the text.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And start with graded readers.
Okay, what are those?
Those are books that are specifically designed for English learners.
Oh, okay.
The language is simplified, the vocabulary is controlled.
Okay.
It's a good place to start.
All right. And as you're reading, what should you be doing?
Underline new words.
Okay.
Try to guess their meaning from context.
All right.
And pay attention to how the sentences are structured.
So it's like really exploring the terrain as you read.
Exactly.
Not just rushing to the finish line.
Exactly.
Okay.
And for writing, practice, practice, practice.
Okay, daily practice.
Daily practice.
Okay.
Even if it's just for a few minutes.
But what if you just, like, you look at a blank page and you freeze?
I get that.
Yeah.
Just start small. Keep a diary in English.
All right.
Write social media posts.
Okay.
Jot down your thoughts, your observations. Anything to get those writing muscles working.
I like that.
Yeah.
What about, like, studying examples of good writing?
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, analyze articles, emails, even well-written social media posts.
Okay.
See how experienced writers use language.
So it's like studying the techniques of really good climbers.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
And don't forget feedback.
Oh, yeah.
Use online tools like Grammarly.
Okay.
Or ask a friend, a teacher, to review your writing.
All right, so get some constructive criticism.
Exactly. And build gradually.
Okay.
Start with paragraphs, then move to essays as you get more confident.
So it's like, gradually increasing the difficulty of your climbs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One step at a time.
Okay, so for reading and writing, active reading, daily writing practice, study the good stuff, get feedback, and build gradually.
Got it.
Okay, we're almost there. Just one more challenge to tackle. And this one can be tricky.
Oh, what's that?
Cultural nuances and idioms.
Oh, yeah, those hidden crevasses.
They are. We've all had those moments, right?
Oh, for sure.
Where we've misinterpreted an idiom or just totally misunderstood a cultural reference.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
It does. It does. I remember one time I was talking to a British friend, and she said something was a piece of cake.
Oh, yeah.
And I took it literally.
Oh, no.
I was like, where's the cake?
Oh, that's fun.
And she was like, what are you talking about?
I know, it's those little things.
It's those little things, right?
It shows how much culture is embedded in language.
It really does.
Yeah, and idioms with their non-literal meanings, those can be especially tough.
Yeah, totally.
And then there's those subtle cultural norms,
Yeah.
like how you greet someone,
Yeah.
how you express gratitude,
Right.
how you disagree with someone.
Those are all different across cultures.
Totally different.
So how do we avoid those cultural pitfalls?
Well, the article suggests starting by learning some common idioms.
Okay.
Just a handful at a time.
All right.
And try using them in context.
Okay, good idea.
And to really get those unspoken cues, immerse yourself in English language media.
Oh, okay. So like movies, TV shows, music.
Yeah, all of that.
Right.
Pay attention to how people interact.
Yeah.
Their humor, their body language.
So it's like observing the locals in their natural habitat.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like that.
Become a cultural detective.
I like that.
Yeah. And don't be afraid to ask questions.
Okay.
If something seems off, just politely ask for clarification.
All right. So if you're not sure, just ask.
Just ask.
Good advice.
Yeah, most people are happy to explain.
Yeah.
And remember, cultural fluency takes time and exposure.
Okay. So be patient.
Be patient. It's a journey.
All right. So for those cultural nuances, learn those idioms, immerse yourself, ask questions, and be patient.
You got it.
Okay. That was a lot. We covered so much ground today.
We did.
We explored the vast and often daunting landscape of learning English. But before we wrap up this first part of our deep dive, I have a question for you to think about.
Oh, I like where this is going.
All right, so as we've been climbing these language mountains, it's occurred to me that the challenges, they're real, but they also make the journey really rewarding.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm curious, how has understanding these challenges changed your perspective on language learning overall? And I don't just mean English.
Yeah.
I mean any language that you're learning or that you might want to learn in the future.
That's a great question. That's a great question. It really makes you realize those breakthroughs, those aha moments, they often come after you've really struggled with something.
Yeah, totally.
And I think it also reminds us that everyone's journey is different.
Oh, for sure.
Everyone's coming from a different background. They have different native languages.
Yeah, different learning style.
Different personalities.
Totally, yeah.
So there's no one-size-fits-all approach to learning a language.
Right, right. And speaking of different approaches, I want to circle back to vocabulary for a second.
Okay.
We know we don't need to know every single word.
Right.
But even focusing on the most relevant words, it can still feel overwhelming.
Absolutely.
So how do you even figure out what those most relevant words are?
I think that's where having a clear learning goal comes in.
Oh, okay.
If you're learning English for travel, you're going to focus on different words than someone who's learning for business.
That makes sense.
It's like packing the right gear for your climb.
Oh, I like that analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not about knowing every single piece of equipment.
Right.
It's about having the right gear for your specific climb.
Exactly.
Okay. And even with the right words, the article talks about how important it is to understand those words in context.
Oh, absolutely.
So ditch the word lists, dive into the real stuff.
Yeah, you got to see those words in action.
Right, because it's one thing to like memorize a definition, right?
But it's a whole other thing to really understand how that word is used in different situations.
Yeah, exactly. It's like learning the names of all the climbing equipment.
Yeah.
But you've never actually seen it used on a real climb.
Right, exactly. It's just theoretical at that point.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so context is key. And speaking of things being in action, let's revisit speaking confidence for a second.
Okay.
We talked about some strategies, but what about those moments when your brain just freezes?
Oh, yeah.
You know the words, but you just can't access them.
It happens to all of us.
It does?
Yeah, even native speakers.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
I think it's important to remember that speaking a new language it's a really demanding task for our brains.
Yeah, it is.
We're not just recalling vocabulary. We're applying grammar rules, we're navigating cultural norms, and we're trying to express ourselves in a way that makes sense.
It's a lot to juggle.
It is. It's like a mental marathon.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, those brain freezes, they're normal. Okay, so it's not a sign of failure.
No, not at all.
It's just a sign that our brains are working hard.
Exactly. So be kind to yourself in those moments.
All right, so take a deep breath.
Take a deep breath and trust that with practice, those pauses will get shorter and less frequent.
Okay, deep breaths. Got it. I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about something that's not a specific skill,
Okay.
but it impacts all of our learning,
Right.
and that's mindset.
Oh, yeah. Mindset is huge.
Huge. And the article talks about having a growth mindset.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Basically, it means seeing challenges not as roadblocks,
Okay.
but as opportunities to learn and improve.
Okay, so instead of saying, I can't do this,
Right.
you say, I'm not there yet, but I'm getting better.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's about focusing on the progress.
It's about focusing on the progress and believing that you can improve.
It's like seeing the summit not as the end,
Right.
but as a point along a longer journey. Yeah, and I think that shift in perspective can really fuel our motivation.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, we're less afraid of mistakes.
Yeah.
We're more focused on getting better. And that belief in ourselves, I think that's really powerful.
It is.
Yeah.
It's like having that inner cheerleader.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That inner voice that's saying, you got this, keep going.
Exactly.
I love that. And speaking of cheerleaders, the article also talks about connecting with other learners.
Oh, yeah. Finding your tribe.
Finding your tribe.
It's so important.
It is, right?
Yeah. Having people who understand the struggles
Yeah.
and celebrate the wins.
It's like having a team of climbers,
Yeah.
you know, encouraging each other along the way.
Totally.
Sharing tips, sharing resources, sharing those funny moments when you totally mess something up.
Oh, yeah. Those are the best.
Those are the best, right? Makes the journey more fun.
So much more fun.
Yeah. And speaking of making it fun, I want to go back to integrating English into your daily life. We've talked about some tips, but what are some more creative ways to do that?
Creative ways.
Yeah, like sneaky little language hacks.
Okay. I like that. So like if you love cooking, follow recipes in English.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or swap your usual podcast for one in English.
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
Even if it's just for 15 minutes.
Okay.
If you're a gamer, switch the language settings to English.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's a great way to like problem solve in another language.
Totally.
Or how about karaoke?
Ooh, karaoke.
Yeah, pick some English songs.
That's fun.
Have fun with it.
Yeah, even if you don't sound like Beyonce.
Exactly. It's all about practice.
Yeah, it's about making it enjoyable.
Exactly.
All right, now back to that cultural crevasse we talked about earlier.
Okay.
Learning idioms and observing native speakers helps. But how do you really grasp those subtle, unspoken cultural cues?
It's a good question. It's about becoming a cultural detective.
Okay, I like that.
Pay attention to not just what people say,
Yeah.
but how they say it,
Okay.
the tone of voice, the body language, even the silences.
Oh, the silences are important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Notice how people greet each other, how they express gratitude, how they handle disagreements.
So it's like learning a whole new layer of communication.
It is.
Yeah.
It goes beyond the words themselves.
Okay. And if you're not sure, just ask, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just politely ask for clarification.
Most people are happy to explain.
Yeah, most people are.
Okay. So it's about being observant, being curious, And being willing to step outside our comfort zone a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And remember, cultural understanding, it's an ongoing process.
Okay, so don't expect to get it all right away.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Even native speakers make mistakes.
Oh, yeah, we do.
All the time.
All the time. Okay, now let's revisit reading and writing.
Okay.
We talked about some practical strategies earlier,
Yeah.
but I want to talk about something a little bit more personal.
Yep.
Finding your own voice in another language.
Ah, that's a good one.
It's like finding your own climbing style, right?
I love that analogy.
The one that feels most natural and comfortable for you.
Exactly. And it often involves experimenting,
Okay.
playing with language, taking risks.
So don't be afraid to, try new vocabulary.
Yeah, try new vocabulary, experiment with different sentence structures, even break a few grammar rules here and there.
Ooh, breaking the rules. I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
have fun with it.
So it's about making the language your own?
It is.
Yeah.
Your voice, your perspective, that's what makes your writing and your speaking unique.
Okay. So it's about being playful, being experimental, and trusting that you have something to offer.
Exactly.
Okay. And for our final challenge, the one that I think resonates with all of us, finding time and staying motivated.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
It's a big one.
It is.
It really is. It's like trying to find time to train for a climb
Yeah,
when life keeps throwing obstacles in your way.
exactly.
Right. So the article suggests integrating English into our routines. But what if you literally cannot squeeze anything else in?
That's where microlearning comes in.
Okay, what's that?
It's about finding those little pockets of time throughout your day
Okay.
and using them strategically.
So listening to an English podcast while you're getting ready in the morning,
Yeah, exactly.
or reviewing flashcards while you're waiting for a meeting to start.
Totally. Even 5 minutes here and there adds up.
Okay. So it's about being really intentional with those little bits of time.
Exactly. And remember to set realistic goals.
Okay.
Don't try to do an hour a day if you can only do 15 minutes.
Right. It's about building those sustainable habits.
Exactly. It's about choosing a challenging but achievable route.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's about choosing that path that you can actually stick to.
exactly.
Okay. And celebrate those milestones.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
See how far you've come.
It's like reaching those scenic viewpoints on a climb and taking a moment to appreciate the view.
I love that.
Yeah.
And remember, motivation often follows action.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes the hardest part is just getting started.
Yeah, that's true.
But once you get going, you might find yourself more engaged than you expected.
Yeah, it's the magic of momentum.
It is.
And don't forget to reward yourself for those efforts.
Oh yeah, rewards are important.
Yeah.
A little treat, a fun activity, anything that makes the journey more enjoyable.
It's like celebrating those wins, big or small.
Exactly. We've covered so much ground today exploring the amazing and sometimes overwhelming world of English learning.
We have. It's been quite a journey.
But before we wrap up the second part of our deep dive, I have one final question for you to reflect on.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, so we've talked about all these different aspects of learning English, from the grammar to the cultural stuff, even like our own mindsets. So my final question for you is, what's one tiny step you can take, like today, to tackle your biggest English learning challenge? It doesn't have to be anything huge, just something to get the ball rolling.
Yeah, I love that focus on action, like what's one thing you can do right now?
Right, exactly. Like commit to 10 minutes of Duolingo.
Okay.
Or watch a 5-minute YouTube video in English with the subtitles on.
Yeah,
Or even just write down one new word and its meaning.
I like that. Just one word.
Yeah, it's not about these big, grand gestures.
Right.
It's about that consistency.
It's about taking that first step
Yeah, exactly.
and knowing that even small steps repeated over time can lead to, amazing places.
They really can. And remember, learning English, it's not like a straight line to the top of the mountain.
No, it's not.
There's going to be detours, there's going to be switchbacks. You might even fall down a few times.
Yeah, you might stumble.
But it's those twists and turns that make the journey so interesting.
Totally. It's about embracing those stumbles, celebrating those small victories,
Yeah.
and remembering that the goal isn't perfection.
No.
It's progress. And the more progress we make, I think the more we open ourselves up to all these new ways of connecting with the world.
Absolutely. Every new word you learn, every conversation you try to have, every cultural insight, it's all adding to this incredible tapestry of human connection.
No, I love that. It's like we're all weaving this massive multilingual tapestry together.
Yeah,
And each of us is contributing our own unique little thread.
I love that.
Yeah.
And the more threads we weave, the richer and more vibrant that tapestry becomes.
That is a beautiful image.
And who knows, maybe someday, because of that tiny step you took today, you'll be having a fluent conversation with someone from across the world, sharing stories, and just realizing how powerful language can be.
I love that. So to all of our listeners out there, keep climbing, keep exploring, keep weaving those threads.
And remember, you're not alone on this journey.
We're all in this together.
Happy learning, everyone.
Happy learn.